Good morning.
Good morning.
Can you please state your name and spell it for the court reporter?
Dr. Nishan Nix, Nahshon, Nix, Nicks.
And Dr. Nix, where do you live?
Jacksonville, Florida.
What do you do for a living?
I work with at-risk youth through my after-school and summer program. That's a nonprofit geared towards building leadership and character through mentoring and martial arts.
And were you ever involved in politics?
Yes. I ran for public office with a grassroots campaign.
And how long ago was that?
3 years ago.
How do you know Mr. Isaiah Chance?
I met him roughly when he was 6 years old. Him and his mother and I have a child together. We were involved for roughly around 7 years. And during that time, I was able to hopefully leave some positive impact and impressions upon him and his siblings.
How would you describe the role you played in his life?
I do not claim to be his father, but I hope to be a father figure.
And how long were you actively in his life in that role?
I would say roughly around 7 years.
Do you love him?
I do love him. I loved him then, and I love him now.
Does he know that?
He better know it.
Can you describe Isaiah Chance to the jury just as a person, as a kid? What was he like?
Isaiah, growing up amongst a predominantly female household, him and I would have times to kind of like talk and chat. I even worked with him pertaining to academics. I introduced him to some martial arts. At that time, I was still competing and fighting in the cage. But I mean, as a kid, I mean, he was a typical young boy. I will say that Isaiah had some learning challenges, speech impediments. He stuttered. So if you listen to him talk, you had to lean in, give him some patience. If he didn't pronounce it right, say it again. Typical kid. He loved noodles. Could eat. We'll go on family trips. I'm originally from New York, and he spent time with my grandmothers, my mother, my family, my siblings. He was loved. I believe he had a lot of positive influences.
So would you say he enjoyed family activities?
Yes, I would say he enjoyed family activities.
Did he have a sense of humor? Yes,
he did have a sense of humor. And like I said, he could eat. That was, like I said, if we were breaking bread, he was at the table, and I will say that he was also raised in the church. When I was in his life, I know just about every Sunday he was in a worship service or with me in church.
Did you see any indications of drug or alcohol use during the years that you knew him?
No, I did not.
Did he ever show any interest in gangs?
No, he did not. And I would like to add one thing that did stand out to me when Isaiah was roughly 10 or 11. We were riding in the car together, and he did mention that one day he would like to be a pastor, like a prophet, to be able to speak truth and life to people.
So would you say he was active in the church?
Yes.
So you mentioned previously that you were very involved in Isaiah's life. What about his schooling during those formative years? How did that go?
Like I said, during his youth, as with any child, if there was a disciplinary action per se, I did not have a problem with chastisement. I believe the Bible says, "Spirit of wrath spoil the child," and not saying that it's always about physical harm as far as a consequence with the rod, but even the lectures that come with it to let you know that you're reinforcing positive reinforcement. You know.
When you knew him, did the school that he was in ever raise concerns about his learning abilities?
I believe one time they mentioned something about he could qualify for extra help and extra tutoring if he would get on medicine, and his mother and I agreed that if he needed some extra help, then I'll be willing to give him some extra help per se, but we didn't think that medicine would help him in that regard.
Did you see progress with Isaiah Chance when structure and consistency was in place with his learning?
Yes. A ton of improvements, positive gains. I mean, he did graduate with a high school diploma, and I'm very proud of that.
Do you know what schools Mr. Chance attended?
Yes.
Can you tell us about the schools?
While I was most present in his life, he attended Changing Lives Christian Academy. I would pick him and his siblings up every day, and I would debrief with them every day in the car. I want to know how your day went, what subject stood out to you, what did you learn, what was interesting to you. Like I said, so I actually enjoyed that time of debriefing with his siblings and himself, to just hear how the days went, you know, to get a good picture of what do you enjoy, what subjects you enjoy, things of that nature.
After your relationship with his mom terminated, did Isaiah stay in touch with you? I can rephrase the question.
I understood the question.
Okay.
There was a time that I was very active in Isaiah's life. His father had told me he respected and appreciated my involvement in his son's life. But pertaining to discipline, he asked me to step back. With stepping back, it circumvented my position as a father figure to where my involvement was very limited. However, Isaiah did reach out to me a few years back about becoming a merchant seaman. I was elated to hear of the aspiration, and I told him anything I can do to help. So I did write him a favorable letter of recommendation.
Was he appreciative of that?
Yes.
Mr. Nix, you work every day with at-risk youth through your nonprofit. You've dedicated your life to that work, is that correct?
My entire adult life has been working in some of our most socially, economically disadvantaged communities within the city of Jacksonville to give every child a fighting chance at success, and as well as dignity and determination.
That's really nice. What brought you to that point that you decided to act in this role?
Growing up, my biological father was incarcerated in Attica, one of the largest state prisons in New York. My mom, the most beautiful woman I've ever seen in my life, struggled with substance abuse. And I know what it's like to feel as if you are hopeless. And by the grace of God, phenomenal teachers, phenomenal individuals that can see a little black boy and see a potential leader, you know, in our society, and teaching them how to read, teaching them how to speak for themselves, teaching them about respect, and understanding that that God is real, and it's very important to me to be able to, what I would say, prefix instead of suffix, which is if we could get it right in the beginning, we wouldn't have to clean it up in the end. And training our youth through a curriculum that we wrote out called SEAL Team in honor of the Navy SEALs, which stands for Social, Emotional, and Academic Leadership through mentoring and martial arts, to where we close the door on influences that could lead to counterproductive behaviors.
I see. And Dr. Nix, I didn't ask you before, do you have a PhD?
Yes.
Can you tell me what it's in, please?
I graduated from the New York Theological Seminary, and I did all of my case studies in zip codes 32206, 32218, 32209, 32218, and I surveyed children to be able to build out.
Yeah, I'm going to sustain the objection.
Okay. Dr. Nix, I believe you have a statement that you would like to read.
Yes. First and foremost, I want to extend my deepest condolences.
Can we approach? Yeah. Yep. Okay, I'm going to sustain the objection.
Thank you, Dr. Nix. I tender the witness.
Your Honor, may we have one moment?
Yes.
Before cross. Mr. Nix, you were heavily involved in Isaiah Chance's life growing up for about 7 years. Is that true, sir?
Yes.
And even though you said you were not his father, he had a father. Is that correct?
So I'm sorry. I'm very ignorant to this process. I thought I was allowed to read a statement.
Yeah, no, so, yeah, okay. I'm gonna have the jury step out momentarily, okay?
All rise.
Okay, very good. Everyone have a seat. So just so you know, Dr. Nix, the state's objecting to the letter. I haven't seen the letter, and I don't know what the contents are, but it appears that you were going to make a statement about society and other things. That's not what this is about. Your testimony here today is just to tell this jury what you know about Mr. Chance, about his redeeming characteristics, and that you care for him and you will continue to care for him and things along those lines. It's not here to make political or philosophical statements. So the state has objected, and the defense actually agreed that a large part of it was improper for this phase of the proceedings, and I've sustained it. So we don't need to revisit it, okay? Because I've ruled. So now you just need to answer the questions that are asked of you, okay?
Copy. Yes, ma'am. Yes,
All
ma'am.
right. Sure. I am going to ask you a question, though, just out of the presence of the jury, because I'm curious. You've been involved with the youth in Jacksonville for, it sounds like, a long time, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
I had no idea the gang violence was so bad. And so I'm just curious, succinctly, if you have any idea, why is it so particularly bad in Jacksonville versus other areas of the state of Florida? Just curious.
I surveyed over 100 youth who had no idea what the other person was answering.
As far as what?
Your question, the number one concern for our youth in our urban communities is homicide and suicide.
Right. Well, because I heard one of the witnesses described that, I think it was Robert Howard, testified that the people that are in the gangs in Jacksonville consider themselves the little Chicago, which I think would be distressing for any member of the community when it comes to gang violence. You certainly don't want your community to be the little Chicago. So I'm just curious if there is something going on in Jacksonville in particular that has made this scourge really blossom.
There's also a big self-fulfilling prophecy component that they look at it as entertainment
I see.
until it becomes reality.
Right.
And unfortunately, the glamorization and attention hijacks the pleasure sensors to where endorphins, dopamine, cytosine is almost like a high that you're constantly chasing, but it's leading to counterproductive behaviors.
Yeah. And those drill rap videos, I think to your self-fulfilling prophecy, the more clicks you get, the more violent, the more outrageous the conduct, the more clips and clicks, and it becomes lucrative, right?
Yes, Your Honor.
Yeah, okay. Okay, very good. Let's go and bring our jury back in. You guys can have a seat. We're just waiting to get for Reggie to get the jurors lined up. He'll let us know when they're walking in.
All rise. All yours are in, Judge.
Okay, very good. Everyone have a seat, and you may continue, Ms. Doherty.
Thank you, Your Honor. Mr. Nix, I know that you considered yourself a father figure to Isaiah Chance. Isn't that true, sir?
Yes,
And during that 7 years that you were with his mother, you were a parental figure to him. Isn't that true, sir?
yes,
You took a strong interest in him and his development. Is that correct?
yes,
And you have already mentioned and testified that he did have some learning challenges, I think was your words.
yes,
And sir, you believe that he may have had some hyperactivity when you were with him while he was growing up?
I would like to repeat what I said then now, which is I had no documentation that could prove the hyperactivity, but based on my interactions, yes,
Right. You told me that he didn't have a diagnosis, but based on your own observations of what you observed of him, you expressed your own concern. Is that correct?
correct,
And you've already testified at some point that you and his mother were left with a choice of medicating him to get him or paid tutoring through the school, or not giving him medication, and you yourself taught him. Is that correct? You became his tutor.
working with him, yes, ma'am,
And you said when he did that in a very structured environment, you saw great progress.
yes,
So he was very intelligent. You just had to work with him in a structured environment. Is that true, sir?
yeah, with accountability, yes, yes,
Yes. And you were there for him. You provided him with that support when you were in his life.
yes,
And you had a positive, loving, supportive relationship with him as a father figure during that time period.
yes,
He had a loving relationship with his mother as well.
I agree,
And back when, even though you somewhat took a step back based on what his father requested you to do, you still would take phone calls from him. Is that correct?
yes,
And you've told us about this one time where he contacted you and he wanted to let you know about his aspirations to be a merchant marine. Is that correct?
correct,
And he seemed very excited about that.
yes,
And you were, again, supportive with him during that time period
or supportive with him or for him?
for him, sir.
Oh, I was very supportive for him, yes.
You would provide him with advice if asked about?
I provided him with the letter of recommendation, which is documented.
Okay. And so you continue to support him even though you were no longer as active in his life. Is that correct, sir?
In the areas that I could be supportive,
And when you were in his life, you took him on trips,
yes.
went to church with him,
He went to church with me, yes,
introduced him to your family.
yes,
He had good relationships with the people in your family.
yes.
I have nothing further, Your Honor.
May I have one moment?
Yes.
You complete that examination.
And sir, just going back again with the amount of time that you spent with him when you were in that role as his father figure, you said that you would pick him up from school, is that correct?
Correct,
You spent a lot of time talking to him during those rides with him.
yes.
He would tell you about his day.
I would probe all the children to see how their day went, instead of getting one-word answers, yes,
Like a good father would, isn't that true, sir?
yes,
Trying to get involved in the details of his daily life. That is something that you did on a daily basis with him. Isn't that true, sir?
yes,
And he would share those details with you. Isn't that true, sir?
yes.
Okay. Nothing further, Your Honor.
Okay, redirect?
No, Your Honor, I have nothing else.
Okay, may this witness be excused?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you, Dr. Nix. Best of luck to you, okay?